Okay, everybody, the reason I just showed you a bunch of pickups I'm just finishing up now, they're both PAF X sets and one Belden set. So this is I'm going to upload this here on Monday early, and it's just to let you know that I have two sets of these. One Belden set, the vintage wire set, and one PAF X set. I'm going to start building those and making sure this thing is working right. Okay. So this is an announcement that those are going to be available. It's payment up front, and you can put your payment in today if you want either one of these sets. They sell out really fast, and it's going to be a couple months before I make any more of these. So I need to make money to pay the bills and stuff, you know, hand-to-mouth business here. So these are both the best, the absolute best sets that I make. The Belden set is the vintage wire set. It's going to show you this here. Don't bleep at me. Off. So the Belden set is vintage wire. This is an expired roll. I'm running out of these. So this wire is the best sounding wire I've ever had, and I had 13 rolls of it. I'm down to about 2 or 3, I think. And once it's gone forever. This wire is from about 1955. It's just amazing stuff. And so that's why I played the Belden demo off of that that video, and also the PFX set. So those are both audio demos of both of those, so you can hear together what they are like. So if you're interested in these, now is the time to grab them, because, you know, if I build the sets ahead of time and put them up, they sell like in 2 or 3 days. So build time on these. They're not built yet, so you can have a choice of new, old stock, pure nickel plating, no copper under it. These are my covers that I make. Do the plating, and then you have the choice of the relic set. So I took photographs and did a little spiel at the front of this video, so you can see what the aged ones looked like, because all these ones I just made are relic. So don't wait. If you want one of these, there's not going to be any more for a couple of months, and then it's really close to running out. And once it's gone forever. I've spent the last 6 years every day looking to find usable vintage wire, and pretty much it's all extinct. I've got, you know, I've got other wires I've hoarded that I can make work. So, but that's coming in the future, down the line somewhere. Especially once I run out of this stuff. So, and then the rest of this video is going to be about why do some vintage Les Pauls supposedly don't sound great. You know, that's one of those forum things. You know, you got 13-year-old kids on there going, some Les Pauls don't sound so great. You know, it's because they read it on the forum and they, you know, they don't have any personal experience with it. They just a bunch of parrots. That's why I'm not on forums. It's just, you know, it's all food fights. In that regard, one of my theories is I see a lot of vintage PAFs that come through here, and the braided wire on it is rotted. And so last month I got like some braided wire from probably 59 or 58, a long piece, and then cut an identical length of that wire with a Gabbitt wire, which is the only wire made that's close to the vintage wire, because it's got the double insulation. It's got the black cotton insulation, and then below that there's the white Celanese insulation. So it's a double insulation, so it's a lower capacitance. You get cleaner sound out of your harness. And both of these sets come with full matched harnesses. And you know, it occurs to me that some people don't understand what the harness is all about. It's a huge filter for your guitar pickups. You know, you can go buy a harness off of, you know, eBay or Amazon or Reverb or something like that, but they're generic. They're not. They don't match your pickups most of the time. And then, you know, you go buy 500K pots, 99% of the time they're not anywhere near 500K. So I learned a method of scraping carbon tracks to get the higher readings that I need, especially in neck position. So, and then I've got the switch wire. There's 3 long wires that go from the switch down to the pickups, and you know, and the caps. And I'm using the Jupiter caps, the Bumblebee replicas. Christopher Young, he figured out how to make them sound exactly like my vintage Sprague new old stock paper and oil caps. In fact, the first time I tried them out, I removed a vintage Bumblebee cap, put Chris's bee replica in there, and it sounded identical. And I'm like, whoa! Finally, somebody figured this out. Somebody with a brain. So, so anyway, I did an experiment, and I'm going to show you photos of the rotted braided wire in LCR, or my LCR meter. The readings I always get, which, you know, it's the first time I ever compared the vintage rotted wire to the modern Gabbitt stuff, and the differences is pretty big. So that is a possible reason that some old Les Pauls and, you know, the other PAF equipped audio, you know, the, my brain isn't working, the acoustic ones, the acoustic electric ones. Why any of those might not sound all that great, and plus the value of the PAFs, but I'll go into that when I get with that. So so actually I'm going to start that right now, since you've already heard the pickups, and so I'm going to cut this off and let's go to that. And, you want this sound, you better come and get it. So, thanks for watching, and let's do that part now. Okay, so you hear guys on forums, you know, saying, well, not all vintage Les Pauls sound all that good. So, you know, it's another forum parroting thing where they just repeat something they read on some other forum, or this or that, or blah blah blah, and then they don't explain why, because they don't know why, and there are reasons. You know, first of all, if you got a vintage Les Paul and both the PAFs measure 7.3K, and there's a lot of them that do. Those, I actually have a 1960 PAF that measures 7.5K, and I put it in bridge position once just to see what it would sound like, and it sounded awful. It was just verging on being harsh, and it just didn't have any power. I had to literally pound on the strings to get it to like register on the amp, and just turning up the amp didn't do any good. It was just too harsh. So there's a lot of vintage Les Pauls that have 7.3, 7.5K in the bridge position, and of course it's not going to sound great. But you know, when you ask them, well, what do the pickups measure? And they're like, well, I don't know. You know, there's reasons behind everything, and you know, the forums, nobody is thinking. So that's one of the big reasons I just left there. It's just, you know, anyway, blah blah blah, bitch bitch bitch. So I get a lot of vintage PAFs in here, and a lot of those pickups have completely rotted braided wire on them. In particular, I got one year that Historic Makeovers had worked on, and both the pickups were 7.3K, but they sounded really good. And there's one of two reasons for that. And it did have very rotted wire on it, and that kind of stuff kills the treble, and it just killed the treble just enough that the pickup sounded pretty good. Or the second reason would be that they were probably like 1957 PAFs. A lot of that early wire was really fat wire, large diameter, and that stuff is low resistance. So you get these low resistance reading PAFs, but they have power. And it's because they have the fat wire in there, but the number of winds was up there, you know, where a regular PAF would be measuring like, you know, 8.5, 8.6K. So that's one reason. But the other reason is something nobody's ever looked into, and that's the rotted wire. Obviously, the rotted wire is cutting things back. So, you know, you got a vintage guitar that's got really rotted wire in there, and it just sounds kind of dull and a little muddy and stuff. And then you look at the braided wire, and it's rotted. And some of that wire is just, it's so rotted and oxidized, you can't even solder to the braid wire itself because it's just really oxidized. And, you know, even taking sandpaper and scraping it down to bright copper, sometimes you can solder to that. But a few of them, it was really hard to get solder to stick to. So I have a length of wire here from probably a 58 electric acoustic Gibson guitar, and it's really in bad shape. And it was so bad shape. I restored the guy's PAF. I put a new lead on it, and it just, you know, on a audio analyzer, you could see that it suddenly gained a lot of high frequencies by replacing the wire. So some of these old Les Pauls that don't sound good, maybe it's just they have a rotted harness, and all you have to do is replace it, and then it would probably sound almost new. But, you know, of course, you replace the harness wire, it's going to kill the value of the guitar, because, you know, best to leave it bad sounding than mess up some old valuable braided wire. So I have a length of that wire rotted, and then I have the Gavit replica wire that has the same double insulation, black cotton, and the Celanese, which is kind of like a nylon. So I cut it the same length and got out my LCR meter, because that's the only place you're going to find the differences. And so I measured the capacitance. The capacitance between the two is fairly close, but then you look at the AC resistance, and the rotted wire is like pretty high compared to the new wire. So AC resistance really relates to the sound of the pickup. Capacitance of pickups are almost impossible to read anyway. So you can't go by that. So there it is. Just might need some new wire, new harness braided wire in there, and the guitar will sound great. So why hasn't anybody noticed this? You tell me. I look at everything. I don't take anything on forums at face value, because most of it's just bogus theories and disinformation kind of stuff. So anyway, there you go. Okay, here is a reading of the new Gavit braided wire. Both the wires, the vintage rotted and the Gavit, are both the same exact length. So the capacitance readings are very close, but look up there where it says 41.47. That's AC resistance, and that's more relevant when it comes to pickups, because you can actually hear the difference in these readings. And so here is the rotted wire. It's 163.3 AC. And this is all at 1 kilohertz testing. So that's a big difference, and this wire would probably be dumbing down anything you connected to it. So there you go. There's a good reason why, maybe those guitars don't sound so good, because the braided wire, which, is most of the harness, is too in bad shape, that it's cutting off high frequencies. So there you go. Take it at face value. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.